Hey guys, so while I was taking the time during my sleep schedule to review my Cyberpunk vid, I noticed a lot of swearing, and that's not the type of content I want to promote, so be ready for a more family-friendly video. Anyways, today I'll be reviewing Omori, a game about anxiety, depression, and suicide. Okay. I personally don't like playing games that deal so much with these subject matters. Not because I don't think these stories are worth telling or people can't accurately recreate those feelings, but rather they're typically very heavy-handed, ruining a lot of potential character growth. But Omori feels balanced with the wacky dream world where the bulk of the story takes place, and none is more evident than in the soundtrack. It can transition so smoothly, giving off different vibes from chill to playful to action-packed to horror. The game's ability to easily transition between settings and establish the context on what's going on around us is its strongest aspect. And it becomes even better with some very strong environmental storytelling. Now, Omori is a JRPG, and like most, they like to say a lot more than they like to show. And that's typically the downfall to every story, but Omori is showing just as much as they're telling us. Like, take Pluto. We hear about him in science class and from these two space pirates. But then we actually meet Pluto. This is the best character. The trailers advertise this game as spoopy Earthbound, but really it's just Earthbound with some spoopy imagery sprinkled in. But that imagery is closely linked to the fear and trauma that the main character Sunny experiences. Narratively, the game also strikes a balance between goofy slapstick, high school drama, and a far more serious and grim tone. At first, everything seems to be behind this giant mystery and what's going on between the dream world and the real one. But after the first 5 or so hours, you have a very vague idea up until the end of the game. And I really liked this game up until the ending. Don't get me wrong, I think any game that gets me to the ending is worth playing, but by the time you reach the ending, you're conditioned to play a certain way. The ending is not only very long, like it lasted about 2.5 hours, but it removed a lot of the mechanics you've learned in the dream world, meaning that all that time you put in was pointless, at least from a gameplay perspective, which is a shame because the combat was a ton of fun. It uses this emotional rock, paper, scissors, and while that alone was interesting, you could have used a ton of different skill and item combos to play around with to find what works best. I've heard complaints that the bosses are a bit spongy, but as long as you're lowering their stats and using the emotional triangle effectively, it really makes you feel like you're interacting with the battle rather than just mindlessly clicking buttons. So when I stopped using this system, I was pretty angry, but then I started to think about why a developer who worked on this game for 7 years would do this, and here's what I think. A very bad thing happens to Sunny and his friends in the real world, and that caused their friendship to fall apart. 3 years later, Sunny has created his own dream world and almost never goes outside, something akin to a hikikomori. Oh my god! And you're given the option to go outside and repair your relationships or stay indoors. I decided to go the more positive route as I felt this would give me a good ending because I'm a good little boy. However, I looked into the hikikomori route, and from what I read, the game turns more towards increasing the content inside the dream world, making it more fun and rewarding. Once you learn this, you begin to understand the message the developer is trying to portray. Omori is a game about confronting reality. We use games to escape from it, but no matter how much we try to escape it, reality will always be there aiming to give us a slap to the face. And the ending shows that. We make mistakes as people do, and we can try to run away from our problems, but all that does is hurt the people around us. So all we can really do is own up to them and ask for forgiveness. I think this game was a lot of fun. Definitely not my game of the year, but it was an excellent game to conclude 2020. Guys, sorry for the shorter video, but Omori is a very difficult game to talk about without spoiling it. So if you see it on Steam or when it releases on the Switch, I do recommend you pick it up. I had a blast playing it, and I think you will too.